One of the biggest issues that people have with news in general, at least in this country, is the unapologetic biasm that they have. Nothing really is more clear when you see how the BBC treats Labour and Corbyn in general to how they treat the Conservatives. You've got an apparent wave of anti-Semitism within the Labour Party. And Jeremy Corbyn gets called out almost every single week to act on this, and he's depicted as some kind of failing anti-Semite. But it's exactly the same in the Conservative Party. It's just most of those Conservative MPs aren't sacked from their position, they're just reshuffled. If you get a truly awful human being, they're not sacked, they're just reshuffled. Ben Bradley is a deplorable piece of scum, and yet he wasn't sacked, he was just put somewhere else so he doesn't lose any money. The only Conservative MP who's actually stayed out of the party is the Conservative for Dover, Charlie Elphrick, and now he's still a Member of Parliament for Dover, it's just he's now independent. But the BBC has a massive bias when it comes to it, and if you've been following the election, you'll see why. They've reported that the local elections that just took place was a massive loss for Labour, and yet somehow a massive win for the Conservatives because Labour didn't get a couple of places in London. Well, here's the actual numbers. Labour are up by 60 seats. The Conservatives have lost 23 seats. The Conservatives have lost. They've lost Manchester, and I believe they've lost Liverpool. In fact, I'm not entirely sure that Conservatives have had a seat there for quite a while. But Labour is up by 60 seats. This is not a small number. This essentially means if this was a general election, then Labour and the Conservatives would be more or less on equal footing, and it would depend on how many people would actually back Labour. Now, I'm pretty sure that the Greens, who went up by 5 seats, by the way, I'm fairly confident they would support Labour. I don't know about the Lib Dems, because the last time the Lib Dems supported a party, well, they supported the Conservatives, and they fucked us all, really. But there is a massive problem with being biased in the media. Now, you can't really hold it against someone for having preset positions, for being a little bit biased. I mean, hell, I'm biased towards the Greens, I'm biased towards Jeremy Corbyn. But at the same time, if they do something wrong and I know about it, I can't let that go. I certainly can't ignore it, and I can't make up a win when it's a loss. Theresa May, the Conservative Party, and that stupid fucking power stand that they do, they're losing popularity severely. And the reason why they're doing that is because they're just not listening to the people. Theresa May is a consummate liar. I recently tweeted out, I don't know who lies more, her or Donald Trump. And it's honestly a close one at this point. Yes, Trump is a pathological liar, but Theresa May seems to be doing the exact same thing. She's lied about the NHS, she's lied about the standing of the UK, she's lied about jobs in the UK, she's fudged numbers on the NHS, when the reality is the NHS is being crippled because of stupid, idiotic taxes that are being placed on NHS buildings and not on private hospitals. That money going to the NHS, first off, isn't even the entire NHS bill when the money is there, but it's also being dictated on how it should be spent, like being outsourced to private companies like Virgin Care, which is not how you run an NHS. Government does not need to make a profit. Government needs to break even. But government is not a business, it is a service. If the government serves the people, the country will thrive. You don't need to make billions upon billions every single year, as long as your people are looked after. Because when the people are looked after, local economy will grow. Entrepreneurship will grow. That alone will bring in the money to the country. That will bring in taxes. That will bring in tourism. Dover gets a little bit of tourism, but to be perfectly honest, it is a shit show here. There are so many shops that are just shut down because the council tax is too high, and we have a moderately impressive castle here. In fact, it's hard to think of a place where you could go in Dover and you can't see the castle. It's the port. It's really a gateway to the rest of the country, and yet money's very, very rarely being put into this place. Again, because Charlie Elfrich was a Conservative, now private, has got more interest in his own business dealings than actually serving the people. Whereas if you served the people, you'd lower the tax a little bit, which would allow a lot of shopkeepers around here to not have to worry about making rent and paying off the council tax. We will eventually get to one of two outcomes. Either the country will crash and burn, or people will finally just say no to mainstream media and to the Conservatives. We've had enough of being lied to, and quite frankly, we deserve better. Hey guys, this is just a little bit at the end of the video because I woke up this morning and found out that the numbers I gave out yesterday were wrong. I don't really want to give out the wrong information. So Labour are now at 2,350 seats, which means in the local elections they won 77 seats. The Conservatives are at 1,332, so they've lost 33 seats. That is a difference of 1,018 seats nationwide. That is the difference between Labour and Conservative. So despite how loudly BBC want to yell, Labour did not lose the local election. It was an unbelievable result for Labour. Might not have had a few of the cities, but with over 1,000 difference, that is a win no matter which way you cut it. Quite frankly, if this was a general election, we would have a Corbyn government right now, which personally I think this country desperately needs. But yeah, it's just a little bit because I got the numbers wrong during the other video.